We are back at a beach. The tide is changing. It is a crisp, beautiful day, and I've got you guys perched on this rocky ledge that reaches really high up, really high up, and at the top of it is a tree, and it's like a beacon. Just absolutely beautiful. I'll try to remember to add a clip. I hate editing. This is usually done just as a one-shot deal to keep it more authentic, like we're chatting. So let's chat about how beautiful it is here, because it is. I'm hoping the sound of the ocean comes across through whatever device you're watching. And in fact, I'm gonna pan over just a little bit. Remember, this is definitely low-tech Mel working here. So I'm just gonna gently turn my iPhone, very carefully and gently, so you can see. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a little crooked. Of course it's crooked. Anyways, I brought you out here. It's a nice escape. We're gonna chat about a little knitting that I'm doing that I thought you might be interested in, just because it's a project that I've done in the past that I get more questions asked about and more words of just kind praise on the work that I did, and it's really nothing that I did. It's the fact that I used really beautiful yarn. I used spin cycle yarn and some hand spun for the first iteration. And the fact is, the pattern is a pattern that a million people have done. It's the Shifty Sweater. And I'm working on my second one. I wanted to share it with you. So if you have a second or two and you want to hang out on a very clean, beautiful beach, we aren't going to be wearing bathing suits, obviously. It's a little chilly. Actually, it's probably chilly for a lot of people who are watching this, because you down in the lower 48 or wherever you are in the world, we're at 58 degrees latitude here, and our island, we're feeling like it's pretty warm today, but I know people down south are wearing sleeveless shirts and capris and shorts, and that's not us yet. This is typically like this. We live on a huge island with a small population of people, a pretty good population of bear, and an insane amount of birds and wildlife. It's just fabulous. If you love the great outdoors, Kodiak is a gem. And no, I don't work for the Kodiak tour industry, but I really honestly think it's a place that everybody and their brother and their sister and their cousin and their uncle and their mom should come. So let me show you what I'm working on. So I did my first Shifty Sweater. There's a post about it on my blog, which is www.encouragebetter.com. And if you go under projects in the top tab, you'll find a tab that says Shifty. And that Shifty is what I talk about there. And that first sweater, I knit that sucker up pretty quick. And this is the second version. This version I cast on immediately after, and it is taking me an insane amount of time. I'm not really rushing. This one's going to be different in the fact that the first one was cropped, and this one is going to be longer. This first one had 3/4 sleeves. This is going to have long sleeves, and I'm thinking about making them balloon a little bit. But I wanted to show you, I'm using Noro yarn, and the Noro yarn is absolutely beautiful. I got this from my local yarn shop. I'm using just 3 different colors, but they are like typical Noro, and Noro has this really interesting dynamic in the yarn that it just changes. That's the way it was created. And so I picked a pale, a medium, and a darker. And I'm on just about 4 more inches on the bottom to go. I really love the color at the top. It's super beautiful. And this yarn is really just fun to use. I'm gonna pull out my tab so that way I can tell you a little bit about it. Hold on just a second. So the yarn I'm using for that is Noro, like I was mentioning. And it is a blend of cotton, wool, nylon, and silk. The actual name of the yarn is Taiyo, T-A-I-Y-O sock yarn. It's a single ply yarn and it's very lightweight. It feels dry. And if you're a knitter used to knitting with wool, like I like to, it usually has a nice, I like a lot of yarn. My favorite yarn, I like a lot of yarn. My favorite is the natural ones that haven't had a ton of processing done to them. And when you knit with them, you can still feel that sheepy oil, that greasy lanolin feeling that I think is amazing. It's just very natural. It smells so good out here. I wish, you guys are perched on this rock. I'll have to, let me see if I can flip you guys around. Can you flip? Let's see. Can you flip, Melissa? You'd think this phone would do more than what it does. But anyways, I'll take a picture and show you. You guys are on this rocky, craggy bit. And there's mossy, I'll show you. There's mossy growth happening. Why is this not coming into focus? There you go. See how bright and green it is? Really dark on the bottom. There's bits of all sorts of natural things accumulating, and it's damp. And so when the wind blows, it just smells heavenly. Anyways, this sock yarn that I'm using for this Shifty feels a lot drier than the first version that I did. It also has a different feel altogether in the fabric construction that I'm making, because the original version I did, there were multiple plies. It was a twisty, vibrant, springy yarn. This is a single bit of fiber twisted once, so it has a single twist in it, and so the look is a lot different. I'm really excited about it. I'm really enjoying it. I wish I could just get it done quicker. And again, I know I shared in the last video what I like to do. Let me pull it back out in case you haven't seen the earlier video. One thing I love doing with my garments when I construct them, can you guys still see it? Can you see the whole thing? So I'm not wearing a sleeping bag. It's a skirt that looks like a sleeping bag. My kids tease me. So one of the things I like to do is, instead of putting things on waist yarn, I put my sleeves or anything else on actual needles. So that way when I go back and I have a chance to finish the body and return to the sleeves to do the work, these needles are the correct size, and I'm just gonna pick up where I left off. And in fact, when I left off here, I made a note and marked the yarn that I was using, because I've seen some that I really like that are mismatched, and I wanted to consider if that's what I want to do for the sleeves, or if I want to keep it all the same color. And because I'm using 3 balls this time, I needed to make notes to remind myself. All right, well, it is raining again, and I know I love being out in the rain, so we're gonna hike a bit in the rain. There's really no better thing to do in the rain. I know it smells good here all the time, but the scent of rain on the earth and the rocks and the trees, and then the dampness from the ocean mixing in with it, best smell you could ever experience. Somebody should bottle it. All right, well, thank you for joining me talking about nothing except for my knitting and how much I love the smell of dirt. I do. I wish you guys could see where you, in fact, you know, I'm just gonna turn you around because it's probably just as pretty. So I'm gonna pick you up, and I know this is not as amazing and terrific as a lot of people do on Instagram and other YouTube videos, but there you are. That's where you guys were perched and sitting. It was a really fun little spot, see? And here's your view. Boop. You guys had a beautiful view. There's my family. And then all the way up, you take it up. There's one tree, but there's the big tree that's like a little beacon. Isn't that fun? Okay, so you're probably dizzy right now, but I wanted to say thank you for spending some time with me. I hope you are well and healthy and happy. And I hope that if you're knitting, you remember that you weren't created in a day, and your knitting doesn't have to be either. I hope that wherever you are, that you're happy and healthy and well and making something amazing. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Aren't they cute over there? All right, bye guys.